Hello, good evening, friends. My name is Dr. Ankit, and in this lesson, I will be teaching you class 11th biology, chapter 1, that is the living world. Okay, so we will start our first topic here, that is what is living. How can we define a living thing? Okay, so what does it says? When we try to define living, we conventionally look for distinctive characteristics that exhibited by living organisms. Growth, reproduction, ability to sense environment and mount a suitable response come to our mind immediately as unique features of living organisms. One can add a few more features like metabolism, ability to self-replicate, self-organize, interact, and emergence to the list. लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ईच ऑफ दीज ओके। अब हम ये सारे टर्म्स एक एक करके डिस्कस करेंगे। ऑल लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स ग्रो। ओके, फर्स्ट थिंग, increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are twin characteristics of growth. A multicellular organism grows by cell division. In plants, this growth by cell division occurs continuously throughout their lifespan. In animals, this growth is seen only up to a certain age. However, cell division occurs in certain tissues to replace lost cells. Unicellular organisms grow by cell division. One can easily observe this in in vitro cultures by simply counting the number of cells under the microscope, and majority of high animals and plants. Growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events. One must remember that increase in body mass is considered as growth. Non-living objects also grow. If we take increase in body mass as a certain criteria for growth, mountains, boulders, and sand moles do grow. However, this kind of growth exhibited by non-living objects is by accumulation of material on the surface. In living organisms, growth is from inside. Okay, growth therefore cannot be taken as a defining property of living organisms. Conditions under which it can be observed in all living organisms have to be explained, and then we understand that it is a characteristic of living systems. A dead organism does not grow. Reproduction likewise is a characteristic of living organisms. In multicellular organisms, reproduction refers to the production of progeny, processing features more or less similar to those of parents. Invariably and implicitly, we refer to sexual reproduction. Organisms reproduce by asexual means also. Okay, fungi multiply and spread easily due to the millions of asexual spores they produce. And lower organisms, the yeast and hydra, we observe budding. In plantaria, flatworms, we observe true regeneration, that is, a fragmented organism regenerates the lost part of its body and becomes a new organism. The fungi, the filamentous algae, the protonema of mosses, all easily multiply by fragmentation. When it comes to unicellular organisms like bacteria, unicellular algae or amoeba, reproduction is synonymous with growth, that is, increase in number of cells. We have already defined growth as equivalent to increase in cell number or mass. Hence, we notice that in single celled organisms, we are not very clear about the usage of these two terms, growth and reproduction. Further, there are many organisms which do not reproduce. For example, mules, sterile worker bees, infertile human couples, etc. Here, reproduction also cannot be taken all-inclusive defining characteristic of living organism. Of course, no living organism is capable of reproducing or replicating by itself. Then what should be a criteria? Another criteria of life is metabolism. All living organisms are made up of chemicals. These chemicals, small and big, belonging to various classes, sizes, functions, etc., are constantly being made and changed into some other biomolecules. These conversions are chemical reactions or metabolic reactions. There are thousands of metabolic reactions occurring simultaneously inside of living organisms, be they unicellular or multicellular. All plants, animals, fungi, and microbes exhibit metabolism. A sum total of all the chemical reactions occurring in our body is metabolism. No non-living object exhibits metabolism. Metabolic reactions can be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free systems. An isolated metabolic reaction outside the body of an organism performed in a test tube is neither living or non-living. Okay. Hence, while metabolism is a defining feature of all living organisms without exception, isolated metabolic reaction in vitro are not living things but surely living reactions. Hence, cellular organization of the body is the defining feature of life forms. Okay, this is the important point. Cellular organization of the body is the defining feature of life forms. You have to remember these bold things. Perhaps the most obvious and technically complicated feature of all living organisms is the ability to sense their surroundings or environment and respond to these environmental stimuli, which could be physical, chemical, or biological. We sense our environment through our sense organs. Plants respond to external factors like light, water, temperature, other organisms, pollutants, and etc. All organisms, from the prokaryotes to the most complex eukaryotes, can sense and respond to environmental cues. Okay. Photoperiod effects, reproduction, and seasonal breeders, both plants and animals. All organisms handle chemical entering their bodies. All organisms therefore are aware of their surroundings. Human being is the only organism who is aware of himself, that is, has self-consciousness. Therefore, consciousness becomes the defining property of living organisms. When it comes to human beings, it is all the more difficult to define the living state. We observe patients lying in coma in hospitals, virtually supported by machines which replace heart and lungs. The patient is otherwise brain dead. The patient has no self consciousness. Are such patients who never come back to normal life, living or non living? In higher classes, you will come to know that all living phenomena are due to underlying interactions. Properties of tissues are not present in the constituent cells but arise as a result of interactions among the constituent cells. Similarly, properties of cellular organelles are not present in the molecular constituents of the organelle but arise as a result of interactions among the molecular components comprising the organelle. These interactions result in emergent properties at a higher level of okay, at a higher level of organization. This phenomena is true in the hierarchy of organizational complexity at all levels. Therefore, we can say that living organisms are self-replicating, evolving, and self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to external stimuli. This is, in short, you have to remember these 4 to 5 lines. That is, we can say that living organisms are self-replicating, evolving, and self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to external stimuli. Biology is the story of life on Earth. Biology is the story of evolution of living organisms on Earth. All living organisms, present, uh, past, and future, are linked to one another by the sharing of the common genetic material, but to varying degrees. Okay, hope you understand this lesson. Please read this lesson and then do comment on the video if you want to me to continue this lesson. Okay, thank you for watching this lesson and have an awesome day.